Welcome to Overthrow, week 3. I am joined by my friend Ricky Bergman, aka SortOf. What's up, dude?
What's up? What's up, man? I'm
Not
doing good.
much. Yeah, I'm doing great as well.
Yeah.
And we're going to be watching a great match between two of the best players in the foreign scene, I would say.
Yeah, for
Reynor
sure.
is the new European champion, of course, for those of you unaware. So he's kind of at the top of the hill. Well deserved, would you say, Ricky?
Yeah, for sure. He's been playing insanely good, like the last couple of weeks, I think. A few months ago, he was looking a little bit not up to his usual level, but
Mhm.
yeah, in the last couple of tournaments, his level has been really, really good. Super consistent.
Yeah, I think that's part of it for him is he's always reinventing himself as a player, so he's always like incorporating new styles and new approaches, and it's bound to look a little bit ugly while it's forming, but once it's done, it's done. And right now we see in CVT he has a really cool lurker style. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see it in this series at some point. And his opponent, of course, is Kelazhur, the best player in Brazil, and
Yeah.
a very strong Terran player himself at 7K MMR oftentimes.
Yeah, like Kelazhur has been like a top player for a really long time. Like if you go back like 3 or 4 years back, he was like a contender for one of the best Terrans outside of Korea, I would say. Like 2016, 2017, something like that. He got top
Yeah.
four at a bunch of WCS stops and stuff like that. So yeah, I have no idea what kind of form he's in at the moment, but if he's been practicing, I think we should have a pretty good series on our hands.
Yeah, I mean he 3-0'd the Laser not too long ago in some tournament, so he was feeling pretty good about his CVT in particular. And when
That's
I
good.
asked him whether he'd like to play this, and knowing that it would be most likely Reynor, he was down and he was ready. So it should be a good one. I expect the Brazilian to take at least a couple of maps here,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think we're good to go whenever Awesome Sauce.
Alright.
We're waiting on your go, Awesome Sauce. I can hear him. You guys can't. I'm not crazy. Go, go.
Go go.
All right.
Yeah. And Reynor is like one of the few Terrans who has been playing the Reaper style as well. Still, even though it's very out of fashion. So I'm curious if he'll bring that out as well.
Yeah, Diego always likes the Reapers ever since he started playing. I guess he's like multiple Reapers. They are one of those units that are very micro driven, geared. I'd say Kelazhur, like with Euthermal, two of the more micro intensive Terrans in the foreign scene.
Yeah.
And Clem, of course, now he's just like micro god, I guess. All right. So we are in game number 1, loaded in. And spawning in the bottom left-hand side, playing for Archangel, it is Kelazhur.
And in the top right, we have the recent European champion, Italy's Reynor.
Yo, boy. All
Yeah.
right. Nothing crazy out of Reynor yet. I'm going to be looking for crazy from him, though.
Yeah, there was some banter in the lobby earlier where
Oh, yeah.
Reynor wasn't too happy about the map choice.
Mm-hmm.
And he was suggesting that maybe he should go for some proxy hatch and something like that. But I think this drone going out is just a scouting drone, most likely.
I
But
don't
it
know,
could be.
Ricky. The timing is perfect if he wants to drop a hatchery in his opponent's base. But no, it looks like he's just scouting. Lame. The
Yeah.
timing would be perfect, Ricky, for a hatch block, okay?
Yeah, it would be a very Reynor thing to do as well. Like saying like I'm gonna proxy hatch, and he's actually going for it, isn't he? He's going very far. Yeah, he's going for
Oh,
it.
yeah. He's going for a Ravagers then, right? Like, we're most likely going to see a proxy hatch near the
Yeah.
third Kelazhur.
Yeah, there's not many other variations versus Terran with a proxy hatch. It's almost
That's
always
what
gonna
you
be
think, Ricky.
the Roach
Oh.
Ravager. Yeah, unless your cats, I guess. And I've seen your stream. You can do some crazy stuff.
They're pretty good, Ricky. I beat Scarlet with it. I beat Scarlet's Terran. She told me she played against it and it was annoying.
What do you
So
do?
I'll take annoying. I go 3 hatch before pool and I block the natural with a third hatchery and then just
Ah,
castless. It's pretty good. And then I go
okay.
for like a 15 or 16 pool, and if the Reaper crosses the map, you have to micro drones, but not for long.
Mm,
And then if it crosses the map, you're guaranteed basically to get a queen out of that base, etc., etc. So
that's
it's
interesting.
never bad. Yeah, it's really good. I like it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I think the more European approach is Bly's proxy hatches, basically Ravagers that we're gonna see, right?
Yeah, this could also be. He's only mine with one on gas, which is okay. Now it's goes back in again. This build was around a couple of years ago, where you would go for the third hatch like this at this
Mm-hmm.
timing, but then you would go one queen, one gas, roach link. Essentially,
Oh.
so you would have like, well, saves the drone. You would have like 4 roaches and the links, just trying to bust the natural. And
Cool.
but the reason that this was more popular was
God.
because on the old maps there was no jump spots into the main base for a reason.
PP instantly after losing a drone. He has 215 ping. He did not like losing that drone, did he? Nice.
Yeah, nice excuse, mate.
He did not like losing that drone, Ricky.
Yeah,
Okay. So we are playing on US East for those of you wondering. The first
yeah,
3 maps are going to be on US East, and then we're likely to move to EU. So
yeah.
whenever Reynor is ready to go here, I guess we'll resume. We could do 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, I guess. I don't know, but um, let's
Look,
let's go. No,
we're going
it
back
looks
into the
like
game.
we're
Yep.
we're just gonna resume. So let's just stay in the game. Is it still bad? Yes, it's okay. Can't do much. All right. So, and it's been since the start. Yes, but only mattered when the drone died somehow. Then we do only you next. What a guy. Nah, says
Yeah,
Ray. Let's see if it goes down. Okay. These players are both too nice.
yeah.
I know.
Kelazhur is a really nice guy.
He really is one of the best.
Yeah,
I lived with him the longest out of anyone, I think, for like something like 3 years or something. Yeah.
yeah. I stayed with him a bit in Korea a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he's just so easy to get along. Such a
Yeah.
chill dude. You know, he's like, is it lagging? Yeah, okay, let's just do you.
Yeah.
That's very Kelazhur.
But yeah, this is not the variation that I talked about. This is non-speedling variation, so he's just gonna make some roaches down here. He's making a lot of drones though, so I'm not sure. He's probably not gonna commit too hard here with this hatchery.
Yeah. It's
Like
a
if he
weird
was committing hard, he would be getting a second gas, right, and cutting drones. But making a
Yeah.
queen at the third hatch.
We've
Let's see
actually
this.
seen him do something like this before, where maybe he expects something like, I shouldn't say he expects, but what happened last time was there was an attack, a move out with Hellions, and on the counter offense is where where these roaches came into play. Basically, just runs them into the natural with the counter attack from the main. I don't think we're seeing exactly that though, and that's what I love about watching Reynor play. You know, I think if he saw the Hellions, he might have been like, all right, like let's go for it, like commit hard. But if he doesn't see the Hellions, I think he's just gonna chill, it looks like, and he's not like you said, committing too hard.
Yeah, it's a good build order though for Kelazhur. He's going for the Banshee. This would have been way better with like a 3cc build or Hellion Liberty, something like that, right? But the Banshee is probably gonna shut this down pretty hard because there's no creep connecting to the natural of Kelazhur from the proxy hatch. So he can't really bring a queen or anything like that. Not build any spores. So I think the best case scenario for Reynor here is like Kelazhur moving out with the Banshee and everything, right? And then he moves in. But obviously he doesn't really know what's going on, so he's just gonna go for the pressure.
Yeah, and I love that Diego has been so patient. I guess a lot of the time Terrans are waiting for 2 Banshees anyway, right? Because they're just so good, and then you don't get caught with your pants down defensively ever. Oh,
oh. That would have been close on the U.
Yeah.
But he got it.
Yeah, you're right. The extra ping, it was very close, and well, both of the Ravagers will fall, so this is a great defense so far from Kelazhur. Even a Queen has been brought, but she really will have no effect. The Banshees will clean everything up very comfortably, and I mean, 8 SCVs that maybe didn't even need to die, you know, if he evacuated a little bit faster, but all in all, great for him, right?
Yeah, and looks like Kelazhur is gonna go for a big 2-base play here as the follow-up. No third command center, just adding more barracks, adding a single or double eBay actually. And now he does have a third command center, so never mind.
Yeah, that's interesting. That would have been interesting. Stim is finishing, and but I don't think he has enough Marines to capitalize or anything like that. So
yeah, but he's probably gonna go for some sort of timing here. And the factory is actually not connected to the tech lab. It's slightly misplaced.
Yeah, these 2 Banshees doing what they were born to do. The Hellions, remember, 3 Hellions will one-shot drones if he can find a nice line, but Diego not really actively looking for that line. There's better clumps than this. Doesn't want to overcommit and actually ends up losing a Banshee as well in the process. So this did not go as well as it was looking like it was going to go.
Yeah, keeping those Banshees alive could have been super annoying for Reynor because there's no lair, so he only has spores to the right to, and if you keep the Banshee alive, they can run in between the bases and snipe rally drones and like pick off queens that are alone and stuff like that, right? So
Yeah,
and
and
but
there
one
were
queen is just, or like one Banshee is so much less effective than a double Banshee.
yeah, especially because it doesn't one shot the worker, so you have opportunity to micro against it. Whereas against double banshees, if they see your drone and they're in range, if they shoot, they die. It dies, right?
Yeah,
And that's just super annoying. So I think yeah, only getting 4 drones, losing the Hellions.
yeah,
And I'm not even too concerned about losing the Hellions, but the fact that he loses the Banshee as well, I feel like he could have killed 4 drones with just the Banshees and not lost
yeah,
anything. I mean, happy, right? So
yeah,
so I think that's one of those situations where Kelazhur thinks, I have all of this and I have a great opening, and if you had 5 hands, go for it. But if you
yeah,
only have 2, sometimes just gotta do what you can do.
yeah, yeah. Now this drop from Kelazhur actually has to do quite a bit because it's not like he went for the fast 3cc, right? So um, he's actually wants to do something with this drop. He's gonna get the cancel on the 4th base at least, so that's a good start. But I think Reynor's position is not too bad here.
Yeah, interesting. Stream is having some sound issues. Matthew? Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. Type 1 if the sound is good. Type 2 if it's low still, guys, in chat. No, I'm calling them guys in chat too. Too much Artos is watching.
Guy in the chat.
The guy in the chat, yeah.
One.
Okay,
Half
cool.
and half.
It's good, it's good. We're mostly good, volume-wise, it
Mostly
seems.
good. Okay.
All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of a drop attempted here by Kelazhur, but Reynor is in position, and now he's taking a 4th base. That little poke really reset things. It seems back to square one for Kelazhur, and this is what I love about my proxy hatch, Ricky, is you always get those type of creep tumors, but in the natural. And it's so annoying because then they have to scan or do something weird like a Raven, and it always turns into a weird game.
Yeah, like this is pretty good now for Reynor, I think. Like the tumor is still alive there, so he can't even land the CC yet, and the 4th base is coming up for Reynor, so I like Reynor's position here quite a bit.
Yeah, I do love that Kelazhur is out on the map with these units. He will pick off 2 queens for his troubles before getting out, and the Banshee is actually uncontested, could pick off some of these Banelings. We'll go after the queen, and now focusing over and back onto those Banelings. Yeah, I like that Kelazhur is there, right? Because there's nothing that Reynor can do to punish him at this point, not until there's a Spire in play or something of the sorts.
Yeah, and it's only the 2, like the medevac drop, right? So there's no tanks that can be left behind or anything like that, so he can just feel free to poke wherever he wants to.
Oh, big counterattack though on the side of Reynor. He's gonna find Kelazhur perhaps unattended at his 3rd. And this might commit the Brazilian now, right? Like, is Kelazhur now committed into an all-in now?
Yeah, he has to at least cancel the 4th, I think. But Reynor's Baneling speed has finished up. But we see Kelazhur going into the really good position on top of the 4th base, where there's not much creep. So this is a good position for him. And yeah, he really wants to deny this 4th base to even out the game, but we'll see how the trade goes.
Yeah, this creep that these Marines are clearing is so important. Even that one creep number that wasn't cleared is so important because that is the position that he needs to advance on 4th to if he is going to have a chance of winning this game. Reynor actually going for it with a huge surround, and it might just be that the Italian has too much somehow, some way.
Yeah,
because he's going to clear it. Wow.
Yeah, a costly trade, but it's good for him because he keeps the 4th base upright, and the 3rd base is still not mining for Kelazhur. So this was a really good trade for Reynor, I think, overall.
Yes, indeed. But Kelazhur is far from out of it. Of course, he is still near 50 workers. The problem is that Rich Bespin Geyser and that 4th base with the 5th coming up for Reynor, it's still Kelazhur that must feel some pressure to make something happen.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with there's no armory, so 2-2 hasn't even started yet. And it's almost like more than halfway done for Reynor, so once that finishes, it's going to be super hard for Kelazhur to find a good fight.
Yeah, this is a big attack. It's going to find some Marines and the medevac, luckily for Kelazhur, but is it enough? There is not enough Marines, actually, and the Lynx will have their way with the SCVs and the Mules as well. Kelazhur on the other side also pushing with a bunch of Marines. Will try to focus fires on Banelings, but there is just too much on the side of the Italian, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, Kelazhur has been fairly cost-effective this game. It's just that the economy has been so much in Reynor's favor this entire time.
Yeah, now it has been.
Yeah, now the 2-2 is finishing up, so now the fights are going to start looking very one-sided for Reynor.
Yeah, and that's kind of crazy that that the economy is looking the way it is, considering the openings, right? Considering that Reynor opened with that proxy hatch, and he didn't really get a lot of use out of it.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I think it's he killed off the 8 SCVs, and
Mhm.
then the counterattack did basically nothing
Yeah,
for uh, Kelazhur, right? So
yeah.
yeah, I think after that point it was kind of an even game, and then the counterattack to the third base from Reynor was the big player, I
Mo-
think.
Monax. That's one of my favorite emotes. Monax. Someone put it in chat. Monax.
Liberator's going down, getting a couple of drones.
Okay, the Banelings.
Yeah, but now the armory starts for Kelazhur, so he's just so far behind. No, it's
Oh, and these links are also gonna find some Marines and tanks exposed. There's no medevacs to lift them or anything to do here for Kelazhur. It seems like things are falling apart quickly. This is a best of 9. So I think we're not gonna be too greedy staying in these games for too long if you're Kelazhur, right, Ricky? Like do you feel like you fight it out like until the very bitter end here?
depends if you think you have more stamina than your opponent.
Good point.
Like this
That's pretty cool.
series can go on for like 2-3 hours, right? So
Uh-huh.
if you feel like you're gonna be playing better later on, it could be a good idea to.
That is so awesome. I have actually never taken my stamina into account. That's great. That's great insight. Do you often like think, generally speaking, like would you say you have more stamina? Well, not so much stamina for Kelazhur here, but who has more stamina than Reynor, right? Like
Yeah,
he's so young and shit. He can play all day probably.
yeah, probably. Yeah, that's something I've realized as well as I've gotten older. Is that when I was 17, 18, I could play 14 hours a day without any issues. But
Yeah,
these days, I need my breaks every now
most
and then.
definitely. Yeah, that is definitely the case as well for me. I was trying to improve quickly like a couple of months ago, and I played like 70 games in a day, and my head was actually hurting so much after. Like I had
Yeah,
a great headache.
yeah, I get the same these days. So I try to put in some breaks
Yeah, do the breathing
to stay fresh.
exercises, Ricky. Wim Hof, I'm telling you, man.
I'll try it out, man. Oh, looks like Kelazhur jumped off to EU.
Oh,
Maybe he went offline at least.
interesting. Let's see. Let's ask him. I guess maybe he thinks it's 1-on-1. Okay, let's. I guess let's
All right,
just go to you then.
all right.
Okay. Hopefully you guys are enjoying
Yeah,
this show match. If you are, please consider subscribing or just following, and also follow SortOf at SortOf SC on Twitter, and Awesome Sauce or Observer at Awesome Sauce with 2 E's at the first E of the name on Twitter, or
yeah,
Awi Some Sauce, which is like the easier way to.
yeah. A very weird game one, I would say. It was quite a unique game how it played out. But
Hmm.
yeah, just Reynor just somehow ended up ahead after the early game, even though the build orders were pretty good for Kelazhur, I think. Um, just some small mistakes in the defense, losing some extra CVs, and then the counterattack. Losing, I think the Banshee was the biggest thing, because playing versus 2 Banshee without a lair is actually super annoying if they just keep them alive and keep running around everywhere. So
Yeah, that was a problem. How do you even micro Banshees and Hellions at the same time? Seems so impossible. But
yeah,
that's
and
what he tried to do, right? And it's
yeah, yeah. The usual play would be to go for, like, you go to behind the natural into the main base with the Banshee, for example, and then the Hellions go into the third or into the natural, something like that, right?
yes, indeed. We got the maps a little bit mixed up, so let's.
Oh, wait, need to get in the lobby.
All right. Oh,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay. We're remaking the lobby actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
How favored is Kelazhur? Said Cali girls. Um, I would like to see Kelazhur take a few games from the champion, but Reynor, I'm not sure that anyone is favored against Reynor. like in the world. So that's an issue.
Yeah, yeah. He's been destroying all the Korean Terrans as well in online tournaments and stuff like that. So he's
Yeah,
definitely on point.
he sure is.
But Kelazhur recently tweeted that he hit 7k MMR on Europe, so
Yeah.
he's no slouch, and he can definitely take some games, I think.
Yeah, he certainly is no slouch. He doesn't play that much on that account though, to be fair, right? Like I've seen that account and it's kind of inactive at times, so it's so difficult to
Yeah,
know where like how like what his shape is oftentimes. But he had a great series I heard against Solar yesterday. Lost 2-3, but he has
mm,
been talking about how he's been competing and competitive with this tier of Korean Circs who are very very good at CBT.
that's cool. Yeah, yeah. Like you said, like I haven't heard much about Kelazhur either these days. Apart from the tournaments he's played, like I don't see him in ladder and stuff like that, right? So I'm not sure what kind of level he's at. You know.
Yeah, we're about to find out as we are now loaded into the game. And in the bottom left hand side of the map, spawning as the blue Zerg, it is Clash's Reynor.
In the top right, we have the Brazilian Terran player from Archangel Gaming, I believe. It's Kelazhur.
Meow, 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 meow. It would be cool to have the guitars, actually. I've gotten used to the guitars now from the ESL.
Yeah.
Every time I put on a player, it has like guitar or some arrangement.
Yeah, Reynor sending out a drone again, but I'm not sure this is... Yeah, it's just going to be a scout this time. No funky business. I say that? No, yeah. No funky business.
Yes, indeed. Someone asked also, is there a way that this event doesn't become as a Reynor / Cyril dominated thing? Well, yeah, SortOf is playing against them next week, so
Yeah.
we should be good.
Yeah.
No, but like
Easy
also
clap.
if someone wins for too many times in a row, we have plans like Awesome Sauce mentioned. We might bring in an Archon eventually or something like that. To
Oh,
kind
that
of
would be cool. Yeah, that would be very cool, I think.
Mhm.
And some of these, like, at least the Europeans have been practicing with Archons from time to time. When it's hard to find opponents from a certain race, they've been like just taking a couple of Zerg players and let them play Terran, you know?
That's so cool, really. I
Yeah,
didn't
a
know
couple
you
of
guys
times. A
did
couple
that
of
for
times.
that. Yeah, that's so funny. I know when Cyril was like invincible, it was like Lambo and a laser would team up against them, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. Yeah, I hadn't heard of like Zerg players teaming up as Terran. That's so cool, though. And of course, at the top of the European scene, a lot of these guys are so very good with off races.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good practice, but you get destroyed. Like I tried it a couple of times. It's very hard
Who
to
did you
keep up
play? Who did
with
you
3
play?
players. I played versus the Laser, Lambo, and somebody else. I can't remember who the third player was.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is the Reaper got faked out, and Reynor just took the other third. So this drone is just kind of stuck here for now until the Queen can walk out and rescue it.
I'm surprised about the positioning on the Reaper here from Kelazhur. I guess he always has time to run and block that. Oh, I guess that that third is never being taken, so it's just stuck. I see.
Yeah. But yeah, the Reaper being there attacking the gas meant that he wasn't checking for these links,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be causing some troubles right now.
Yeah, it's sad because there was an SCV out actually that traversed the middle of the map, but then as the SCV retreated, these links were pushing out. So it's really unfortunate for Kelazhur. Minimum amount of time between, knowing that he's safe and this hitting basically.
Yeah, and this is very annoying. Losing 2 SCVs, forcing the mule of mining. This is gonna make
Not.
This is gonna make Kelazhur's build order super delayed. Whatever he wanted to go for.
Yeah, he might have to end up switching it up here a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he has to come up with something at this point because he is behind against Reynor, and that is not a position that you want. It's a position that's easy to get into.
Yeah.
But it's a position that you need to know or at least have some plan to recover from. He needs to do something different here.
Yeah, looks like he's just gonna pop down a third command center. Yeah.
Is that risky? Do you think that's risky enough? Is that bold enough?
I mean, this is a bit risky, right? The Roach will probably kill him right here, but he's just going for the macro play. I'm not sure what he had planned before that, but Viking 3CC, it's not a bad build. I think you can, if you get some overlords and the nice scouting, the Sergei seems sure what's going down. It can be okay, I think.
All right, and you're a macro master yourself, Ricky. So when you want a macro, it's oftentimes also like one of the better ways to try to catch back up, right? Like let your opponent make mistakes, or
Yeah.
but do you feel like he's cut enough corners? Because on the macro department, you can certainly kind of all in on macro, right? And hope that they don't attack you, for example.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going for like the full out, like all in macro, like 2 Hellions and no air units, just straight into 30C, right? But he cut Hellion production for a long while to get the 30C and get the extra barracks down.
Cool.
So he's definitely trying to cut some corners to get back, and he's just looking to get some kills with his Viking. But Reynor is doing a good job pulling back his overlords. And now he's making 1 Liberator, so we'll see if he tries to distract with Liberator and then run in with the Hellions. So it's pretty hard to do that with only 5 Hellions, especially when they're already a bit bruised up.
Yeah, we'll push back the creep at least, and that's something that Creep Tumor barely survives. As did that Overlord. I feel like there was an angle there that the Viking could have still shot at the Overlord without all the queens attacking.
Yeah.
But not gonna happen this time around. This is a very wide open third as well for Reynor, which is usually a thing that Cirque doesn't mind at all.
Yeah. Reynor is going for +1 roaches with 1 Evo here. This is a very unusual play. I'm not sure if he's just scared because he didn't get much scouting info. But yeah, Liberator getting shut down hardcore by Reynor.
It's already in position, 5 of them, so it was incoming or expected at least.
Yeah. Yeah, Reynor has been, or Kelazhur has been a turn that's pulling out mech quite a bit. Like last year, he was playing almost exclusively mech. But I think he's started playing more bio again recently. But I'm not sure if that's what's in Reynor's mind here, going for the roaches.
All right. I do like that he's getting Carapace. I think when he gets Carapace, or well, I shouldn't say when he gets Carapace, but Carapace might be an indicator that he plans on making a lot of links still, in the sense that it affects both units. The only time that I saw him research just Carapace was when he was going Ling Ravager, but now he's getting the Roach attack as well.
And this is a big problem for Kelazhur because he has no idea about these roaches. And versus this kind of style, you don't want to move out. You just want to sit at home and try to harass a bit. Because the way it works out in TVC with this composition is the longer the Terran survives, the better upgrades they get, the better it is for him. Eventually, the Roach army just becomes obsolete, essentially. So as the Terran, you just want to sit back and try to big up a big army. And preferably wait for 2-2 before you fight.
I'm with you on that. So let's see if Kelazhur will spot the army and what he's up against. You still want to poke out, right? You still want to go for these drops and abuse the lack of anti-air a lot of the time.
Yeah, you want to at least have some idea what's going on, right? If they're committing to their push, or if they're joining up, getting a hive, stuff like that. So it's not a bad idea to be out on the map.
Yeah, one thing that I love about Reynor as well in his play is that he will capitalize, right? If he knows there's some units loaded in a medevac, he's like, okay, this is my time right now. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Not all the medevacs were unloaded, and Reynor finds an opportunity to capitalize. There is only 1 tank siege when he engages. Now there's none of them, as the second one arrived late to the party, and now he has position of that third and pushing into that natural.
Yeah, the tanks are a bit too exposed. In this scenario, you want to keep them way further back, right? So they're basically out of corrosive bile range. But yeah, there were 2 out in the open and got picked up. And when the tanks go down, it becomes very hard to hold on this turn.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be too difficult for Kelazhur to recover, or for Kelazhur to recover from here.
Yeah, it's looking pretty grim. Even if he somehow cleans this up now, like Reynor is turning up his 4th base. He has +2 armor on the way.
Yeah,
to
touch on that, to talk about his build again a little bit more, I think the armor is also indicative that he expected bio, right, over mech.
Yeah, for sure. It's just if you're playing versus mech, you would for sure go for the range, preferably. But it could be just like he wasn't sure if it was bio or mech, and he just like
catch-all type thing. Does Carapace help much against mech?
It doesn't have that much, but it's better than +1 range with his bio. So I think it might just be like the the least worst option, you know.
Are you familiar with any of the interactions? Like, does +1 range versus bio actually do any? I guess there's medevacs and stuff, so probably, yeah, it doesn't matter even if it did, right?
The only interaction with +1 range, I think, is if the Marines don't have combat shields, they get takes one less shot from a roach to kill the Marines.
The Marines don't have combat shields. I love it.
Yeah, so that's the only interaction, I think. And these days, after they nerfed the same time, research time, they turn out basically always has combat shields.
Yeah, of course. All right. Kelazhur will re-establish the third here, but Reynor is now working off of 5 base and 99 workers. So
yeah, it's looking pretty rough here. Like if Reynor was just like committing to Roach Ravager and you get into this scenario's turn, you can win for sure, I think. But Reynor is not really committing to this anymore. He's transitioning to Lingbane, getting his hive, like you said, 99 drones. So
yeah, this is something that has become more common amongst Zergs. I've seen it from Cyril a lot as well. And from Zergs in general, I think like just this sort of like pseudo all-in where you do very committed pressure, but then just drone out behind it, right? Like it's like it has to do a lot of damage, but you don't really reinforce it.
Yeah, like you can kind of go for the timing, and then like once the timing starts doing damage, then you realize that okay, the only way I probably lose this game is that if I commit really hard and I lose everything, right? So and then you just start droning behind it.
Yeah, and it just makes it so much more difficult for your opponent as well, right? Because they're scared of an all-in and they have to be like thinking about what they just defended, and then they also have to either go out, like Kelazhur just had the presence of mind to do, or just sit back and wait until your Zerg opponent has the entire map and feels comfortable enough just throwing units at you because they have that much money.
Yeah, I think a big problem for Kelazhur this game was how late he realized there was roaches, right? Because preferably you would have like the siege tank way back, like I said, and also like a couple of bunkers in the front. Just anything to buy time for the tanks to do more damage, right?
Indeed. It's a nice setup that Kelazhur has defensively, so I think he'll stabilize in that sense, but I don't see how he ever recovers. He has to kill some bases for Reynor or find ways to trade efficiently somehow.
Yeah, but that's the thing for Reynor. He can basically just A-move his army and not micro, and it'll still be a good trade for him just because his income is so insane right now.
Yeah, so... Yeah, to touch on exactly what you're saying, he has doubled the gas income and something like 1/5 extra mineral income right now, so that's pretty great.
Yeah, a Liberator killing some drones, but yeah, it's just not enough, right? Like, you would need this like 4 times over at least to begin even thinking about a comeback, I think, here, but...
Yeah, and also one thing that we don't talk about often with Zerg is like the production setup, which is like just having hatcheries everywhere and terrain everywhere already allocated, right? Even if you lose a base right now or 2, if you're Reynor, you don't really care. Like your income doesn't really change at all.
Yeah. And yeah, this is like this would look like a decent fight for Kelazhur if it wasn't for the production tab, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the production tab is going to be the problem here as something like 70 Zerglings are coming out to help. Ravager, bro!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is intentional here.
Yeah, it's a cheeky, you don't know if it's intentional kind of thing. You don't want to call it out. You can't call it out, but the mind games.
Yeah.
He's smiling.
Yeah, for sure.
GG.
Yeah, if it's a mistake, like you realize pretty fast, right, and then you would unburrow again. But if when he just keeps them there, and it's like,
it might have been a misclick at first, but then just left them there or something,
Yeah. Misclick to borrow. Sure, mate.
All right, love it. I guess we're switching servers again. Awesome sauce. Okay.
Yeah. Again, the early game the early game was not that bad. It was the Lings set him behind a bit, but I think he did the right choice of just going for the fast third CC, and he wasn't in an unplayable position after that. It's just he had no idea about the roaches until 1-1, and the roach speed was basically finished, right? And by then it's just a little bit too late.
Yes, indeed. So Okay. Reynor leads the series 2-0. This is to no one's surprise. Kelazhur putting a strong start in the first game, but that last game looked really difficult. He's going to have to really, really scout. And that's the thing with Reynor, right? Like when you play against Reynor, you really don't know what to expect to a good degree. Like he can really
Yeah,
just do about anything, and that's just part of what has to play into it. If you're his opponent, you have to be like, okay, well, what do I prepare for? Like you
yeah,
you need that extra like scouting, and you need to be able to get in there, and you need to know it'll keep you on your toes for sure.
yeah. I think that's also a big difference between like Serral and Reynor. Is that Serral is like obviously super good, right? And he does mix it up quite a bit recently, but like
Recently.
his mix-ups are they're predictable mix-ups, right?
Hmm.
There's like this makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
But when Reynor does, it feels like he can do literally anything to you, and it's just it's very hard to play against if you're not on top of everything. Like if your scouting is just a little bit off and your reactions are a little bit too slow, it can just be so hard to play against.
Yeah, he's a very playful player, right? Like it looks like he's like having fun when he's playing. He's just like actively thinking about how do I annoy you and how do I make the game more difficult for you,
Yeah,
and not so much about like what's the perfect thing to do, but rather like what's the thing that you would like me to do the or that you would like me to do the least, right? Because that's what I'm gonna try.
yeah, for sure. Well, Reynor was saying earlier that he likes this map versus Terra, so he gets it now. By Kelazhur's pick, I think, right? It's loser pick, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some source confirms. Would it be like Anthony? Do you want to just unmute yourself so people can like hear you whenever you intervene? Is that a thing? Okay, cool. So next week we'll do that.
All right.
We are now loaded into the game and starting in the top right hand side of the map. It is Kelazhur for Archangel. My boy Diego.
And in the bottom left, we have the Italian Wonder Kid. It's Reynor.
The Italian Wonder Kid. But he said that Clem is the Wonder Kid. He said I'm playing
Is he?
against the Wonder Kid. Yeah, was it? Well,
Hmm.
Reynor tweeted the other day. I'm playing against the Wonder Kid next.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and we see
Do you
Kelazhur
think
going
that?
for what we talked about earlier.
Oh,
Yeah.
love it. Do
Yeah.
you think that's Reynor kind of like not liking the nickname and trying to slap it on Clem instead?
Could be. Could be.
Could be,
It's
right?
it's hard to say. Do we do
Yeah.
winners interviews and stuff like that later on?
We can try. Yeah, if like yeah,
Yeah.
last time he was a little bit slow to join, but if we have
Yeah.
another Reynor victory, we'll try to do that.
Yeah. So if he wins, we can poke his mind about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming for the 3-rack sweeper, and yeah, this is like he used to play this every game, like back in when Beyond was the best turn in the world,
Yeah.
and Reynor like Kelazhur would just do this every game. So he has a lot of experience with it, and as a Swag player, like back in the day, you know exactly how to defend it, right? You had every single time you nailed down. But these days, when you don't play versus a build that often, you kind of forget like the small intricate things, right? And Kelazhur is still aware of all that stuff because he still plays the build. So
Makes sense.
it's I don't think these maps are very good for this build, but it's good because you're not as used to playing versus it, right?
Yeah, and it's gonna be scouted fairly late here. I mean, as a normal scouting overlord, I guess. But
Yeah,
so I personally really always struggled with this type of build because the transitions are always kind of unclear to me. Like it's so difficult to know, like if it's like 2 racks or 3 racks, and like how much commitment. And sometimes I feel like it feels to me like the Terran has so much control over this. And if you fail once around with your links or something like that when going link speed, it's just kind of over. And
yeah,
also on the flip side, if you don't fail the surround, it's kind of over for them. So it's
yeah,
yeah, it's kind of like Link Bane, but weird.
yeah. Like essentially, what you want to do is just overcommit to units initially, and then have like one good fight in the early game so that you get back map control, right? And
Mhm.
from there, it gets a lot easier.
Oh no.
But here, yeah, and
Okay.
link speed finishing, and yeah, this is very
Oh,
rough
that's
for
it.
Kelazhur.
Oh god.
Because this was actually a very good build order
Wow.
for Reynor. Yeah, all the Reapers go down. Yeah, this was a very good build order for Reynor because he went gas pool hatch, so the link speed is a little bit
Mm.
faster than it normally would, right?
Wait, he went gas pool hatch?
Yes, he did.
What a madman.
Yeah, And also the +1 armor is also a common response to the Reapers. Makes the grenade less effective, makes the Reaper do less damage. So
Oh, I didn't even know that the grenade got less effective from it. That's cool.
yeah,
I thought the grenade was like, oh, getting a surround or looking for it. It is Reynor. I thought the grenade didn't count. I thought it was like a spell or something, but I guess it does. That's
um,
pretty cool.
if I remember correctly, it does count because we used to do this back in the day before when the Reaper grenade did so much more damage as well.
Mm,
But I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure.
I have no idea, so you're
Yeah,
probably right.
yeah. But yeah, good initial trade for Reynor, but you don't really want to be bleeding off units versus this in general. So you want to be a little bit careful, retain your units, because if the Reaper count goes up high again, it becomes very hard to get your third base down.
Mm-hmm. No,
But yeah,
right. So
everything is yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
third did go down, and Reynor has a few. Oh, I love this. Like just cutting off reinforcement links.
Yeah,
So they'll catch individual Reapers as they come. That one dies sadly, and is gonna be paying attention for the next one to come. So what does Kelazhur do from here? I mean, is he just dead? Like he has Reapers out on the map, but I can't. But he lost so many. It feels kind of helpless, right?
yeah. Like at this point, he's kind of forced to keep making Reapers because it went so bad in the beginning, and he kind of just has to hope that he gets a good fight, right? Like where he
Mhm.
like the links round kind of fails, and he just barely gets away with all his Reapers, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of what he's looking for at this point, and then he has a small chance of making a comeback. But now +1 armor is gonna finish, so it's gonna be so much harder to actually take that good fight.
Yeah,
Um,
Raynor's been so sneaky too with those links. Like, I love that he plays off of his overlord position, right? Like he knows where the overlord is. He's gonna know what's near it, hides
yeah,
the link accordingly, and now sets up for a giant surround as a
yeah.
result.
This
And
is
yeah,
rough. This is very
this
rough.
is one thing that he does consistently that I see him do that not everyone seems to be actively doing is he always has a group of links kind of reactively waiting for a move from his opponent, like hiding links. They're
Yeah.
either gonna counterattack or they're gonna flank the opponent's army, depending on what makes the most sense at the given time. But he always has those.
And Reynor is just pulling the trigger here. He got a Baneless done. He's just gonna bust the wall and run in with a million Zerglings. And I don't think there's much Kelazhur can do about this, to be honest. After losing all those Reapers, he has 2 Reapers and 3 unupgraded Marines.
Yeah, he's getting +1, but yeah, there's not gonna be any Hellions, there's not gonna be any tanks.
Yeah,
The
no
upgrades are
bunkers.
gonna play against him, no bunkers, and this is just gonna be it. As
Yeah,
Kelazhur is forced to tap out, and the score is now 3-0 in favor of Reynor.
yeah. That's kind of the thing about the 3x Reapers. That it's a super snowbally style. Like if you start doing damage, like you pick off a queen, you have a couple of good fight versus the links, then it becomes really hard for the Zerg to bounce back. But if you lose your initial Reapers like that,
Mhm.
all the momentum is gone, and Reynor gets so much freedom to actually drone up and also take his third, get creep out, all that stuff.
Yeah, and this is a decision that Reynor chooses to go for. It seems the +1. Yeah, I would love to interview him after just to ask him like, do you think he was expecting the build from Kelazhur? Because it seems like that fast of a speed is just quite a bit
Yeah,
scary.
it could just be he wanted to go poo first into something else, right? Sometimes you do that, but um, if you know that your opponent is gonna go 3x Reaper, then going for this is a very good option. Because the
Yeah,
extra early link speed means that you can take a fight versus the Reapers before the like 5th and 6th Reaper comes to the fight, right?
yeah. I wasn't paying attention too much to the scouting, but this is something that Reynor might have been paying attention to if Kelazhur was or wasn't a CV scouting, for example, right? Because the pull first with the link follow up could also be something like delay the CC and then flood to deny it or something like that or against a standard
Mm.
like one Rex expand.
Yeah, but normally if you're going for that play, you usually go for like a even earlier gas and pull, right? Because you need the
Okay,
speed to finish before the CC does with
I
that
see.
play.
Well, I thought
But
you said he went gas pool hatch.
yeah, but you would need to go for like a 14-14, something like that,
Oh,
to
I see.
actually
Okay.
cancel the CC, I think. Unless you really catch him off guard with the Ling run by, and like you manage to delay the SV for a really long time, then you can still kill it. But
But if you made like 4 or 6 links, isn't that what the initial ones do? If like there's no SCV scout?
yeah, so if there's no SV scout, then that's a player you can go for.
Yeah, so that was what I was saying. I don't know if Kelazhur was a CV scouting in the games previous, because if he wasn't, then maybe Reynor thought, it's like a
Yeah,
double, like it's double good, right? Because if he goes Reapers, great. If he goes no SCV scout, great.
yeah, yeah. I'm coming. Let's see
Alrighty.
here. Um, yeah, yeah. We'll have to. If he wins, we'll have to ask him and see what he says.
Yes,
But
indeed.
Because he was actually SCV scouting, at least on pillars. There was an SCV blocking the third base initially. That it eventually went home, right?
Yeah. How do you feel, Ricky? Have you ever played a long series against like Reynor or Serral in recent history, like a long one?
Not a long one. The most I played is probably best of 5, I think. But I haven't had any good results versus either of them recently, so those were probably 0-3s, I would think.
They are just so powerful. And it's
Yeah,
like, I don't know, like watching sometimes like people play against them, you can't help but to feel helpless. Like Kelazhur started, for example, with a really nice drone snipe into Reynor going for a hatchery that didn't really pan out or pay off, and
yeah,
still loses. Like, how do you come back from that mentally, right? As a player, it's so difficult.
yeah. Especially in this like long format series, right, where you're like you don't get any momentum going and everything just falls apart. You have to be very resilient mentally to keep calm and just keep doing it. And
Yeah.
I think the best way to approach this at this point is just to say,
Oh.
okay, it's just a practice game now, and just like I'm just gonna do my best
Yeah.
and just focus on my game, and hopefully I can get some momentum going.
I like that. And Reynor is scouting 4 proxies, and I think this is good, right? Because if you're Kelazhur, you might just be looking for a reset or try to get momentum back quickly,
Yeah,
like a cheap win at this point, and see if you can sneak one, just for the sake of like making the series a little bit closer, making you feel like you have a chance. Because at this point, you don't just, it's so difficult to look at this game and be like, okay, I gotta win Golden Wall. It's like, yeah, you gotta go win Golden Wall and the next 2 maps to even it up. So it's
yeah,
like, it feels bad if you if you think about it that way.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, a lot of the even Sarah has been going for the drone scout lately versus Turax, but I feel like for that reason, a lot of the top European parents have just completely stopped Turaxing at this point,
Mhm.
because the drone scout has been so common. So I feel like at some point we're gonna see the drone scout go out of trend, I guess is the way to say it,
Yeah,
and then the Turax are gonna come back. I guess
yeah,
that's
completely.
usually the way it goes.
That's the meta. It's yeah, and that's the cool thing, Ricky, too, is that you can get ahead of it, right? Like if you know what the pattern is, then you can play around it to some degree. And if you're playing
Yeah,
around it faster than everyone else, then you're benefiting greatly.
yeah, you'll get some easy wins probably if you're doing that.
Hmm.
But yeah, no weird stuff this game. No Ling run by, just taking his third base, the normal timing. And there was no SCV scout this game, so he can go for this extra early third base because there's no SCV blocking. So it's very
Mhm.
nice for Reynor. You feel very good as a strike when you get the third down like this and there's no block.
Yeah. Hey, Ricky, how do you
Oh,
feel about about Evo blocks on the natural? Why don't Terrans do it? Do you think it's too costly?
on the natural, I think it's probably slows down their build order too much. And Zerg, like if you get EV blocked, you can just get extra early speed, and then it doesn't matter that much. I think for Zerg.
Really? You would
And
feel
yeah,
okay?
like
I don't know. I feel so terrible whenever they do that, but they never do.
yeah, because they have to send the SCV so early, right? And then they have to make the eBay before you make the hatchery, so you have to cut SCVs for that probably to get it down in time. I would
Yeah.
imagine.
But then they delay a hatchery. How is that not good enough? And you can cancel the eBay. Oh, or they can make a bunker as well sometimes.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if you're going like gas pool hatch as the Zerg, it's actually not that much worse
I
for
see.
you,
Okay.
economic wise. And the Terran cuts a lot to do that, right? So it's like if you really want to fuck with your opponent, but not actually get ahead, just get into a weird game, then that's something you could do, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, super early third gas here from Kelazhur, so he's gonna be going for the BC. Already have the fusion core going down, and overload speed from Reynor, so he sees everything.
Hey, Ricky, I'm gonna bet you right now, $10 cash, that within 2 years, the eBay block will become kind of meta at some point.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that bet.
Okay, let's do it.
But
Within
you'll
2
have
years.
to remind me because I'm probably gonna forget about it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, pay up.
It would probably work. You could make something up. Yeah, but anyways, he sees the Banshee or the BC super early, and this is most likely mech. BC into bio has been a build, but I feel like it's very much fallen out of style.
Yeah, why
Recently.
is that? Do you think just how things line up? Like you need a lot of gas and stuff for BCs.
Yeah, it just slows down your build order so much, and one BC is not really that scary. Like BCs gets like scary when there's like 2 or 3 of them, right?
Hmm.
And so like unless the one BC does a lot of damage, it's actually not that hard to deal with. Or like you end up in a pretty, at most you end up even, I would say.
Mm.
So it's just not a preferable build order, I think.
True. Oh crap! I forgot. Twitch is sponsoring this show match series, by the way. So after this game, maybe we should take a break and have run some ads, so that everyone's happy here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So should see sports going down pretty soon, and we already have a lot of queens going up for Reynor. I actually would like to see even more queens in this scenario, but if he probably feels fine as it is. He has a lot of spare transfuse energy, so he should be fine.
Yeah, Yamato being researched. I am a fan, and yeah.
Yeah, and actually the Hellions, he lost some Hellions here to some Links, and that's actually a pretty big deal because what's scary about this like BC Hellion play is actually the Hellions, not so much the BC. So
Mm,
getting the Hellion count down and damaging the Hellions is very nice for the third player here.
that's interesting. So because the Hellions, what they threaten drones more so than the BCs, or
Yeah, because as long as the Queen is in position, it's actually going for the Hellbat play. I didn't see the army.
oh, interesting.
So he's just gonna go in the front here. Yeah.
Even more so, right? Like losing Hellions when they're gonna turn into Hellbats, it's even maybe
Yeah.
more damaging. And I guess we're gonna see one BC arriving manually and the second one teleporting in for Kelazhur, so it will be a strong attack here. The Hellbats though engaging before the BCs really have a chance to join the
Yeah.
fray, and so taking a lot of extra damage. Not what you want to do against the European champion, certainly. The second BC is now out, so it will surely TP, but there is so many queens here.
Yeah. Yeah, and the roaches were already out to defend this, so this is a
Jeez Louise.
this is a build that Dream likes to use. He used it versus Dark a couple of times in online cups and stuff like that. It can be very strong, but you have to hit a very sharp timing, and preferably you would have all your Hellions at full health when you go for it.
Yeah,
And
I
you
really
just
don't
wanna,
understand how Reynor does this, Ricky. It's like he has so many workers and so many units, and yeah, how does he have all of it?
yeah, his mechanics are just brilliant, I think.
I guess so.
But yeah,
It's
now
like I look like after he holds so comfortably, like I look at the workers tab, ready to say something like at least they're even workers or something like that, because he had to cut so much to have so much ready, you know. But
yeah,
no, he's like way ahead. What?
yeah, and he's actually going into bio from this, which is, I mean, it kind of works out right now because
Oh.
Reynor is going for +1 ranged roaches, but he's so far behind in his production and his economy, so it may not matter that he actually tricked Reynor here, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, that is
He
a
needs to
lot of
find some.
well.
Yeah, he needs to find some damage with the BCs, I think.
It's gonna be so difficult though, even with the Yamato. I mean, there's so many queens, and they are, I mean, good targets for Yamato for sure. Okay, 2 will go down.
Oh, and 4 overlords here. He's just going for a big roach queen.
Yeah, he
bust
wants to
here with
load the
overlords. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is gonna be pretty nifty. The battle cruisers are gonna TP to defend against the roaches, and Kelazhur has to be aware that there's potentially queens on the way, which there is. The Hellions are doing what they can at this point. Maybe best off to be morphed into Hellbats if you're gonna be just fighting for the extra HP. But
Yeah.
it's I don't know, it's a lot.
Yeah, this is a good setup though for Kelazhur because it's actually going bio, so this push shouldn't be that scary, but I think it's just so far behind that this is still going to be very hard. Like, compared to the last game, there's no +1 armor, so we'll see what
here
happens here,
comes
but
a push. Actually, the queens are a little bit chunky, so you don't want to drop them often in front of the roaches, but it's not gonna matter. There's just way too much here
yeah.
for Reynor, and he's at least gonna gain position here at the gold and continue to push on to the natural. I think this might just be it.
Yeah. Yeah, if Kelazhur had a little bit more time and he got out a few more bio units and 1-1 finish, then it could be looking at like a different game, but he was just a bit too far behind from the early game once again.
This has been kind of nasty.
Yeah, not catching a break Kelazhur. He can't find any damage in the early game when all of his builds, Reynor is just always on top of it and shutting everything down. And always coming out ahead, it seems, from the early game.
It has been rough indeed. And now he is, he just killed 44 CVs, so he's got to be pretty happy with that. What do you think, Ricky? What do you think, Ricky and Anthony too? Do you guys think we should watch like Reynor's viewpoint, like for next game, or at least like for a good chunk of it for the start of it, just to appreciate how good he is? He doesn't stream that much, does he?
Yeah, I'm completely fine.
Yeah. Type 1 in the chat if you guys would like to see Reynor's point of view for at least a good chunk of the next game. Type 2 if you would rather see the normal. Okay, okay, let's try that then.
Yeah, Kelazhur is still in this game, but it's not looking very good, so we're most likely looking at a 4-0 here.
Yeah.
For Reynor.
Rough.
Yeah. Yeah, he already has like a fully saturated 4th base, 5th base coming up. He's a little bit behind on upgrades, but does it matter when you're ahead? What, 70, 80 supply?
I would want to say no, Ricky, but this is this kind of game is like an analyst's nightmare, right? Because it's like what you have nothing to talk about. It's just done. There's there's no way to disguise it here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only hope for Kelazhur here is Reynor morphing like 30 banelings and accidentally pressing X and blowing them all up.
Yeah, that would be.
But even then, I would still think it's not looking good for him.
Yeah, it would still look rough. The one thing is that, Reynor is the type of player that could do something like that just for the lulz, but a lot of these banelings will get taken down. I love, for example, this baneling drop that he was going for is so smart because of the ledge. Like, I talked about this as well, but if you look at the ledge, there's no way to spot the Overlord until it's basically on top of the SCVs. And that's the only map where this happens, right? Like, it's the only map where the minimum possible time. And so Reynor sees the map, figures it out, and I've seen him go for these baneling drops onto the goal like every time that anyone takes the goal.
Yeah, and it's a very inexpensive way to just end the game, right? If he connects with the mineral line there, it's even more over than it already is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the only counterplay you can really do is put a sensor tower, but it's not like when you're down 80 supply, you want to put on a sensor tower and like start turtling with bio.
Yeah, in his game against Clem spotted it with a Liberator, luckily, I would say. Just because they managed to, scout each other. And then from then on, Clem was very diligent about making sure that the Viking was looking for it, basically. Yeah. So, I mean, there's counterplay, but it's like not usually until you've already suffered from it once at least, right? Like until if you've seen it and it's hit you once.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just watching a long, painful death here. Unfortunately.
That's what we're watching, dude. It's pickup from Kelazhur. Still no baneling speed for Reynor. Almost ready now. These Corruptors are gonna have their way with the medevacs. And now Reynor finally decided to push into Kelazhur potentially. There is a little bit of a tank setup, so especially without baneling speed, it's gonna be difficult. The battle cruisers are gonna meet Corruptors in the backlines. That's not a fight they want to be fighting. And they will be forced to TP out as well.
Yeah, usually Reynor is like very, when you watch him play in tournaments and stuff, he's very on top about finishing the game, right? Like he's always gonna go for the finishing move if he feels it can work. But here he's kind of toying with his food a bit, I feel.
Maybe that's what it is.
Or maybe he just doesn't realize how far ahead he actually is, but...
yeah, I mean, he just got the baneling speed, so maybe he was waiting for a few things as well. The lair is on the way, as is Burrow. A lot of spines, spores. This is his least favorite map as well, so he might have suicided a few times on this map onto a strong defense and just be... Because on this map, you can't really be super Reynor. Like, you can't... There's not really a lot of room for Rambais, right? Like, Rambais are so difficult to make happen. The middle of the map is just kind of difficult to get by. It's better for, like, drops and just being sneaky through the back and macro play and expanding.
Yeah, but this map does, like, once you get to the super late game, this map does get pretty hard for Zerg, I feel like. It becomes super hard to secure the bottom bases, eventually. Like, the first initial 5-6 bases, when you have the top side of the map, it feels pretty good. But then you get so spread out when you start taking the bottom bases, so...
Yeah.
But I don't think that's gonna come into play.
I don't think so either, yeah. But yeah, the minerals will work against you as well, right? So because the minerals in the middle are not usually mined out, and Zerg really relies on the like a lot of our movement is with the army, like Zerglings, like roaches, just on the ground. Whereas Terran's movement is often like what we just saw from Kelazhur, very easy pick up and go to the other side of the minerals and no problem, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so looks like Kelazhur is maybe is gonna get to a maxed out supply, but yeah, it's hard to imagine a world where Kelazhur wins this game.
I would love to see it though. That would be great. And Reynor has given him more space than Reynor usually gives. To your point earlier, so we'll
Yeah,
see. We'll see if he ends up regretting it, because Kelazhur, yeah, as he encroaches onto maximum supply, I don't know if maybe he gets some ghosts, some liberator, some Terran potential here. Okay, GG.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, it was looking rough for sure. Um, yeah, he just looked so solid in the early game. I think that's been the story of the entire best of 9 so far. It's just shutting everything down, coming out with a lead, and then working that lead into a economic advantage in the mid game, and then just either finishing him off with a timing or just dragging it out and counterattacks and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, you really have to find a way back against Reynor. It can't just be the normal plan. You have to return punches essentially, right? Because he's gonna punch you and he's gonna be like, okay, like I'm gonna gain my advantage somehow. I'm gonna find your weakness. I'm gonna exploit it. And if you can't do the same to him, then he's just gonna keep getting a little bit more and more ahead and chipping away at you
Yeah,
until you inevitably die.
yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
for this game, Submarine though, the smallest map, Ricky.
yeah, that's probably the best Terran map in the map pool, I think, at the moment, along with Eternal. I think those are probably the two best Terran maps.
Mm-hmm. All
So
right,
it's a good setup for Kelazhur to maybe get something done here.
would be nice. Would be nice. And yeah, I guess we can start with Vision of Reynor.
Did you
Uh,
want to run some ads?
oh yeah, let's do ads. Wait. Yeah. Let's do ads. Wait 2 minutes. We gotta run ads so we can get money for more of these. Okay. We'll be back in like 2 minutes then, guys. Stick around. Hells yeah. Starting soon screen.
Okay, I'm gonna run AFK for 20
Okay, welcome back, guys. We are back live. I think some of you might still be getting ads. Whoa, my camera went cool. My camera went full overthrow. Do you see this?
Yeah,
That's
I
so
see.
cool. Okay. All right, and we are in game number 5 now of Reynor versus Kelazhur. We're about to get started here. So the map is going to be submarine. We were talking about this is the shortest rush distance map in the map pool, and tends to favor terrain. You would say, Ricky, is it just because it's the shortest?
It's not just because it's short, it's just the way the expansions work in the late game. Like your fifth and your sixth base all get further out into the map, uh,
Mm,
harder to defend. There's rocks and chokes and cliffs where you can put your tanks for your early mid game pushes. It's just really hard for Terran or easy for Terran to find good fights in this map, I would say.
I see. I see what you're saying, especially with the later bases. It seems like they're right next to your opponent's next one of your opponent's base, basically, right? So it makes you fight and contest the territory really heavily. That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
All right, we are in Raynor's view, my friends. So yeah, we're watching what the Italian does. Yeah, let's keep production tab open so you guys can still see what's going on, and we'll be working with the production as well to try and keep tabs on what's going on the other side. What's up, Ricky?
What's
What's
up?
going on here?
Yeah, just a normal hatch first. I think we might see him drone scout again for the 2x because normally you would use your first overlord to scout around your bases for 2x, right? But in this case, he's just sending it straight across the map. So that could indicate that he wants to
Ooh.
confirm with a drone scout. But it's already getting a bit late for it, so
Yeah, and Kelazhur is this time going for the Reapers once again. This time, Reynor is going for Hatch Gas Pool, so
yeah.
maybe not as good as last time.
Yeah, this is best case scenario for Kelazhur, I would say.
Mhm.
We'll see. He's gonna scout it very early though, because like I said, I talked about before, the first overlord didn't scout for proxy racks. It's just going straight across the map.
Mhm.
So he's gonna see that there's barracks in the natural. There's no CC.
Wait,
So
so
he's gonna
that's
have
is it? How normal is it to scout for proxies versus going across the map? You think these days?
yeah. If you're drone scouting, then it's completely fine, right? But
Oh, of
I would
course.
say in general, the last year or so, it's been very common to not send it across the map and just look around for proxy racks. Like 80% of the time, I would say.
Mhm.
But yeah, he gets to see it very early, and we'll get to see what his response will be.
All right. So it looks like he's gonna evacuate the natural first of all, not having to worry about that. Is nice. The Reaper will have a little bit more trouble committing up the ramp. Of course, Reynor did mine enough for link speed, so he's kind of committed on that ground, which
Yeah,
rules out the roaches. And I mean, it has to feel pretty good for Kelazhur, right? It's
he
gonna it's
gets
gonna come down to his control.
yeah, he got a drone already. He's gonna bruise up some circlings here. And yeah, the first Reaper is a little bit early with the 3x Reaper, just because you go gas first, I believe, with this build. So you have a little bit more time to harass you.
That
But
is
yeah,
a
very
lot of links. So following your advice, Reynor, is in terms of over defending early, right? Over defending, and then once you've stabilized, he will try to drone
yeah,
up again. Because at the moment he's even behind in workers during this.
yeah. Like preferably you would, as soon as speed finishes, you would look to get a good fight, and then go back into droning after that. But it's already droning a little bit here, which is fine. We'll see how it ends up playing out.
Mhm. Oh, I like what you're saying though. Like just that links until link speed is done, and try to hit a timing basically and surround the Hellion, the Reapers.
Yeah. So we're gonna see how it plays out here. And yeah,
Oh,
it's good job by Kelazhur just poking, denying any creep tumors, just getting whatever damage he can.
and this is what I was talking about, where it's kind of like now up to Kelazhur's control. But oh, Reynor is so smart. He's gonna section off some links to try and look for those reinforcing Reapers. It will barely miss one, but at least it makes it so that the number of Reapers isn't increasing dramatically, right? That's so important to do here, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so now we're just gonna keep two groups of links out on the map, and you can either go for a flank here or just counterattack with those links. And you actually have so many links, he kind of has to pull SCVs to repair and send Reapers home and stuff like that, so you can buy time that way and get some creep out. We can already see he has started his creep spread in the natural, so this is what you want as the defending Zerg player.
Yeah, his links are gonna get found now, and Kelazhur just went back and looked everywhere basically for that group of links, but that means he's not really applying pressure or anything like that. Maybe we should switch to Diego's point of view, awesome sauce, for a little bit to Kelazhur's to see what's going on here on his mind.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I think the biggest goal here for Kelazhur is to make sure the third base doesn't go down. That he has to commit a lot of units to actually take the third base.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually the rate is going to go down, and he's taking a lot of
Oh.
gases, Kelazhur.
Yeah, but here comes Reynor with a huge flank. Yet still, the grenades can really do wonders for Kelazhur, but they don't manage to. And Reynor is gonna kill all of the Reapers and stop all of the momentum that Kelazhur had going for him. And yeah, I mean, he's always looking for these opportunities, Ricky. It seems like I've casted more than a few games of Reynor recently, and he always has that extra group of links on the map doing something, cutting reinforcement.
Happens again.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just very rough.
They're either cutting reinforcements or looking for an opening to run in or looking for a flank to surround, right? There's always two, the student and the master, and yeah,
that's what you gotta do.
How hard is that to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually with this style, it's just like once you get that one fight like you just got, then it becomes a lot easier because now you're not living on the edge anymore. Like it can literally be the difference between having 4 more Zerglings in one of your groups, right? But just keep surrounding him. This is well executed by Reynor and maybe a bit ambitious by Kelazhur to be out on the map with so few Reapers.
Yeah, maybe let's just go back to awesome sauce observing.
Alright.
That was cool though. I like the first person view. We could make some more of those sometimes, especially when some of the best are playing, because it's so fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, like I said before, this style is all about the snowball effect, right? And the first round really shuts him down really hard. And he was looking good before that. It's just you have to not get completely surrounded. It's okay to get semi-surrounded, and then you like throw a few grenades, then you get out, right? You trade a few Reapers for a lot of links and stuff like that. But like after those 3 Reapers, the third base goes down. He gets to drone up and tech up, and he gets so much freedom, right? And then he lost a bunch more Reapers. So now all the momentum is gone, and he committed hardcore to this. Like he went 4 gas super fast and up to 6 or 7 barracks, I believe. 6 barracks. So he was very committed to the Reapers, and he just lost all the momentum with them.
Yeah, and it means it's gonna be very difficult from here on. The Spire is now finishing. Reynor has more than stabilized economically. Kelazhur tried to take 2 gases, and he has always tried to keep up the Reaper count, but he has lost so many over and over again. And yeah, Reynor's not looking to stop, not showing any mercy.
Yeah, and now Mutas are gonna come out pretty soon, so Spire just finished. And this is like, when you get to this now, you're in any type of game as a Zerg player where you already have full map control, and the Mutas come out before they can even start thinking about moving out. It gets so hard for the Terran. Like they're gonna have to have turrets everywhere, and you're gonna be picking up SCVs. Like normally, you would already have like your push out on the map, right? As we see more Reapers go down.
Ricky, what are you gonna do? I mean, I think safe to assume at this point that that Reynor is your most likely opponent.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you gonna do?
Well, it's gonna be very hard, for sure. Like, but I'll have to study the games versus Serral in depth and try to come up with something. If not, it'll be very good practice games for me, either way, and I can try out some ideas I have.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
I would love to see that. Yeah,
but I think I can take a fair amount of games if I play well. I think I get a little bit lucky maybe with some build orders.
Yeah, and for the week after that, I think we haven't announced it, but I think Sol will most likely be joining me, and will be the contender against the winner of SortOf and Reynor. So that should be pretty cool.
Yeah, either way, that should be a cool series because Sol is a very standard player, so he makes for a very good show match player.
Yes, indeed.
He's gonna play a lot of standard macro games probably.
That is very true. Or Ricky, or should we do the Archon and postpone Sol?
Ooh, yeah. I guess if I get destroyed, maybe it's time for the Archon.
okay going up against an Archon if you win though? Because yeah, if I ask the Archon, then they're ready to go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If I win,
You'd be cool with it?
I'll take on the Archon. Yeah,
All right. Then I think we'll find an Archon, guys. Is what we'll do.
yeah. I'm sure we won't have to search for too long,
Yeah,
especially
probably
since I
not.
see Lambo in the chat. And yeah, Reynor coming in here. Just
Oh,
it's hard
Lambo
to.
would be too imba of an Archon. I think I'm thinking like a high NA Archon or something like that. Reset things a little bit, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Or do you think that would be too weak?
I'm not sure. It's hard to like depends if they practiced Archon at all because it's a little bit different from normal games.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'll look around for an Archon, and Reynor will close out the series convincingly with a 5-0 over Kelazhur. Kelazhur still wins $100 for participating, so thank you very much to him. He has been in great shape. So recently he went 2-3 against Solar, defeated the Laser 3-0. So don't count him out so much just because Reynor is just pretty absurd. So
Yeah, yeah. Like Kelazhur is a really really good player. Like he's still one of the best foreigners, but not as good as he used to be. Maybe because he used to be like one of the I would say top 3 foreigners, but he's still up there. And I think versus any other Zerg, it probably would have looked quite differently this series.
yeah, let's see if Reynor wants to join the call really quick. Wait, Wisdom, is that
Cool.
okay? Okay, yeah, it'll mess up the cameras, but that's fine. Is the queue here? So do it. Go, go, go. Yeah, hello.
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 Yeah, the cameras get super. Oh, the cameras are still good, Pog. Nice.
Nice.
Well, I'm not sure if that's
Nice.
fair to say my camera is nice. Yeah, congratulations, man. You
Thank
won
you.
again, as per usual. Are you bored of
Welcome
winning
back.
yet, or?
No, always
Oh.
feels nice.
That's good. We had a couple of questions actually. What were the questions, Ricky? We had one.
Yeah, I'm
We
trying to think.
um,
Oh yeah, game 3 on Everdream.
Yeah,
Were you anticipating the Reapers, or were you just going for Gaspool Hatch as a?
I was expecting the Reapers.
Yeah,
my boy, really?
Yeah. Diego does it a lot on that map and on Submarine, so I wanted to play the same on Submarine, but I just did the gas slightly faster, so I have faster speed. So that
Mm,
also works, I think. As long as you have decent speed timing, it's good versus Reapers.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's a
How
little bit rough
much?
if you like. Yeah,
How much
go ahead.
Ricardo do you play against the player rather than like the matchup? Would you say?
A lot, yeah, a lot. Like for
Yeah.
example, if I have to play, let's say Clem or Gabe, it's always
Mhm.
different things, you know. It's
I
very
agree.
different.
Yeah, it shows in your play, I think, and that's why people don't know what to expect. But a lot of the time, you're gearing it towards them specifically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in your interview of the games against Clem, I couldn't help but to notice, for example, that you gave a lot of respect to his mind play versus Muta, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
and so
I'm
yeah, I
not
think
very
that's very
confident
smart.
with my Muta play against these mines. So yeah,
Exactly. So it sounded like you were confident in your Muta play, but you thought his minds were actually, like the
yeah.
kryptonite. Yeah, that's
I
fucking
think I
brilliant.
can beat almost everyone with my Muta play, but I'm not sure
Mhm.
about Clem. It's very tight.
Yeah, that's so awesome. It's so awesome. Yeah, I was pondering on that. I was wondering and thinking about that you said in that interview because it's really cool how you seem to always play against the player rather than just the matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah. And next up, you're against Ricky. What are you gonna show any mercy?
The real question is if Rick is gonna show any mercy.
That is the real
Mechanics
question.
himself. Gonna get
Yeah,
blasted.
yeah,
Some late games,
yeah,
perhaps.
yeah. Some late games.
Yeah,
Some late
I'm gonna
We'll
games.
get
see.
blasted there for sure.
I would hope
Yeah,
so.
I'll have
Yeah.
to
Look
hit
forward
up some Zerg players for some custom games this week.
Yeah, gonna have to practice with Yona so I
Oh,
can
to
Fiona. Oof.
play
bring in.
some decent late games against the Ricky himself.
Love it, love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I yeah.
Ricardo, yeah, go on, Ricky.
I wanted to ask about did you expect him to play mech at all? Because I was thinking mostly because of the roach play you went for in the on the Pillars of Gold? Or was this just like
Yeah. I was expecting mech. I was mailing BCs and then I was wrong. So I was like, okay, let's do a 1-1 timing. But the one
alright.
one one was not lined up. So I was
Yeah,
slightly worried. But then I saw he dropped and I was like, okay, send the roaches. And it
yeah,
worked out.
yeah. He had no idea about the roaches until you showed them to the medivacs, basically.
Yeah, because I killed the aliens.
Yeah.
Amazing. Awesome sauce. Do you have any questions? All right. Well, yeah, I think I'm good on questions as well, Ricardo. Do you want to do any shout outs or anything?
I just want to shout out Soul and
Yeah,
then
shout out to Soul.
shout out Clash and Red Bull and you guys. Thank you. Always a good tournament. And GG's to Diego. He's always really scary with his Reaper play. So yeah, I
Yeah.
had to blank counter him there.
Yeah. A
Yeah.
good note of respect there too. So yeah, thank you, Ricardo, for your honesty and insights, and thank you very
Thank you
much, Ricky,
guys.
for the co-cast. Would you like to do some shout outs as well?
Yeah, just shout out to Soul and shout out to my team, Cosmos Esports, and yeah, to all of you guys for watching, and to you cats for having me on the show.
Yeah,
Look
my
forward
pleasure.
to playing this kid next week.
It's gonna be a good one. I look forward
Yeah,
to it. So yeah, on my behalf and Awesome Sauces production, thank you very much all for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye bye.
mm, thanks.
I think we can.